Hey everybody, Ed Lemberger here with some more personal empowerment talk and spiritual empowerment. And, I've got a disclaimer right off the bat. Do I know what I'm talking about? I mean, maybe I do, maybe I don't, but that doesn't matter because you've got to make up your own mind and be 100% responsible for what you think and do. And this is just for entertainment purposes only. And I've got this saying, it's your mind. Make sure it's you that's using it. And of course, that certainly applies here. All right, here we go. Now, we've got this virus going around, and they call it a pandemic and shutdown, lockdown, whatever it's called. And it's causing a lot of devastation and a lot of harm to a lot of people. And I think that, what comes to me when I do deep meditation about it is that, and I think a lot of people share my opinion, that this is really not about a virus, but it's about a reset in the way we're going to move forward and do things as a country, the United States where I'm in, and around the world, other countries too, that we can't keep doing things in the same way we did in the 20th century because we're evolving, we're moving, of course, we're 20% done with the 21st century, and the last 80%. Once we get this all sorted out, is going to be a really great time for all of us living here on planet Earth at this time. So I do something I call contemplative meditation, and a lot of times I do it in the morning when I've got an open mind, and I just try as best as I can to open myself up to the wisdom of universal intelligence and to see what it's telling me. And it was about 15 years ago this thing happened where I all of a sudden, it came to me about illness and what this concept of dominion, which is more of a spiritual concept that people think about it. And it's, every life form on the planet is serving every other life form on the planet. But there is a flow hierarchy within this matrix. And those life forms that have lesser access to consciousness, and don't get your emotions into a tizzy, because this is just what it came to me, okay? You've got to make up your own mind about this. Those beings with lesser consciousness actually serve those with a higher consciousness. It's like the same thing as the food chain, basically. And then when you get to the human stage of consciousness, where we are aware that we are conscious, then the other life forms that serve us, they try to figure out through telepathic language, the language of the universe between life forms is telepathy. It's not English or Spanish or Japanese or whatever. It's not a spoken language, it's a vibrational language of telepathy. And then we actually explain to the lower levels of consciousness life how we want to be treated, how we want to be served, okay? And then it came to me, and I'm going to put up another spiritual concept, this original sin, which I never believed in when I was a kid. I thought, original sin? You say God is all good, and if God is all good, then God wouldn't put a concept of original sin. But original sin isn't something that's put into the youngster. Original sin is the thoughts of the collective mind around that youngster that was born into this world. And that person that was born is born with a unique ability to understand the world, and the way this unique person might understand the world might not be exactly what the collective consciousness of the person of how they understand the world. So it's different. And some people are born with different things that they can't even tell the collective consciousness of society what to do, the greater society what to do, because it's dangerous for them to tell people who they really are, Look at the man 2,000 years ago. He tried to tell everybody, hey, you don't have to run the whole world on all this hate and everything. You can run it on love. And they said, oh, really? Well, we'll give you love. How about this? Then they end up crucifying people. So Yeah, that's the real original sin, is the sins of the evolving collective mind that has too much fear into it, that when love is entered in, it's crucified. All right, you got it? Here's where I'm coming from. Now, the way to be well and stay well within this virus situation, and I did some contemplation on it, is to add that what I just said into this mix. It takes feeling, knowing, vibrating absolute self-worth, and complete elimination of fear consciousness to get here to a point where when you do an active meditation, a deep meditation or a contemplative meditation, that universal intelligence will come in through you as a mind-body vessel and explain some things to you about how this whole thing works. So if a person can eliminate fear as much as possible and allow self-worth, because every person is created and sustained by the one power that creates and sustains all life forms, and that you are here because universal intelligence wants you here, creation wants you here. That's why you're here. So we get there to this place of understanding universal intelligence with the deep meditative ideas. And here's what came to me when I did that, is all viruses obey human consciousness. So at a deep vibrational level, we give them permission to heal us or to harm us, depending on really what we feel about ourselves in this self-worth vibration. Do I believe that just because I'm a human being, that I am a person that deserves to have absolute health, harmony, vibrate in my mind and body right here, right now, and always? Can I move myself up to that belief? Can I start telling all of the organs of my body that, look, they're bathed in absolute love, the love of creation, and also the love that I'm delivering to them just by thinking about them, putting them in line with absolute self-worth thinking? So this giving these viruses, they take instructions from us. And if it seems like they're harming us, and really don't get your emotions in a tizzy again, because, you know, this is not me speaking, it's the Spirit through me speaking. They're really not harming us, they're just obeying what we feel about ourselves at a deep emotional, vibrational, unspoken level. So it doesn't matter what virus it is, or what the DNA, RNA sequencing is for any particular virus that makes its way into an individual human, because every virus just acts within the oversoul laws of nature, as directed by the internal vibrations of the human, broadcasting the services requested signals. Now, don't get mad at me for posting this. So I didn't create the laws of nature, as they pertain to mind especially, or anything. You know, nobody created the laws of nature. We're just living within the laws of nature. And this is how I'm interpreting the laws of nature as they pertain to mind from the information that was delivered to me. Okay? So, so consciousness, human consciousness, supersedes that of a virus, any virus. And that means that any virus that would come into my body and begin replication in me would have no choice but to obey my unspoken, unseen, and underlying subconscious mind vibrations. And these vibrations are giving instructions to these lower consciousness life forms on how to provide service to me as they go about their business. Because all life forms in nature are in service to other life forms, and there is a service hierarchy, just like the food chain hierarchy. And every being, living being, is here to serve and to serve the greater good. So now look, if we look at, especially well here in North America, we notice there's times in nature, the prevalent times in nature that the flu comes through, mostly in the fall and in the spring. And what work are they really coming here to perform? If they're coming here to serve us, how are they serving us? Well, I said this in another video. They're coming in mainly to clean, okay? I know that they're attaching to the DNA and RNA. I know that the scientists have that. They go in there and they peer into it with electron microscopes, or how they find all this stuff out. And they say that the viruses are coming in and attaching to the DNA and pulling information out. But I think what they're really pulling out is toxic material that has gotten into the made its way into the DNA and RNA sequencing of the cells. So they come in the fall and the spring to do deep cleaning. They're trying to help us out. And if our bodies are too autotoxic, then we have a problem, because they have to replicate too many times to do their cleaning. And then if we don't feel good about ourselves, if we're projecting these vibrations of no self-worth, we don't like ourselves, they kind of get confused. They're doing a cleaning job, but they mess things up on the other end. It's like the construction crew coming in and building the house, but not cleaning up after themselves as they do their work. Well, if we feel absolute self-worth, they'll come in and do their work and clean up after themselves too. So, these viruses are very small. They can penetrate the inside parts of human cells, and they can really do deep cleaning. So this is just a method of nature that's coming around. It's just like every other cycle of nature, and it's like the weather. I mean, it comes around. Are people, with this social distancing, are they really, is this really stopping the spread of the virus? And what the universal sources told me is no, it's not. That's not how it goes, because the viruses are floating through the air anyway. Okay. The masks and all that stuff, I mean, they might help people feel better, but if the really thing that's going to make people feel better is to put themselves into a place where they're vibrating absolute self-worth and eliminating any fear whatsoever. Okay. Now, again, I'm just saying this for entertainment purposes, okay? I'm just giving you information that is coming through me from universal source. I'm not saying I'm correct about this. If this resonates with you, fine. Take it in and kind of do some more contemplative thinking about it. If it doesn't resonate with you and you think I'm full of BS, okay, then this isn't the line of thought that you're going to want to go down. You can find another way to go down, okay? So, I believe our immune system lets viruses in. And it kind of like hires them to do a job in a way. And then, the scientists are going to say, well, yes, but once they're in here, we build up antibodies. And yes, I know we build up antibodies. But I don't believe that building antibodies is a seek and destroy mission. I think that the laws of nature work as governing systems, okay? The laws of nature are absolute, but how they're used is within a governing platform. So I believe that building up antibodies before an illness sets in is a mistake that we're making in our present thought process about what the big medicine model is. That I believe that there are millions of strains of viruses, and each one of these millions have mutations, and they come and each year some new mutation of a virus or new edition of a virus comes around to do cleaning. Okay? And if we had immunity to every virus out there, and we still needed viruses to come in and do cleaning, then that wouldn't be a good thing either, you see. So we don't want to build up antibodies to every virus so they're going to be on a seek and destroy mission. I don't think that's how it works. Okay? So there are millions of strains of viruses and their mutations. So if we go the vaccine route, then what are you going to do? Give some little baby or little kid 10,000 different vaccines so they can build up 10,000 different antibodies? Because I don't believe that's how it works. That's not what the universal mind is telling me about this whole thing, that we allow them in. The antibodies are built up just as a governing system here, to while they're inside of us doing their work, that they don't overrun the place too much. Okay? It's a governing system, just like body temperature is another governing system that the human uses to keep the viruses that come into us into check. Okay? If they have to replicate too many times because our body's too autotoxic, and they come in and they start looking, and then they find out that, well, we don't really care about ourselves anyway that much because we don't have this absolute self-worth, and they're given these instructions here: clean up, do your cleaning job, but hey, if you leave a mess, actually, you're going to clean out one thing and leave a mess on the other end. No, you've got to clean up the mess too as you go along. So body temperature is when it comes up, and all these viruses, they can't live within the parameters of this high body temperature, and that's a governing system the body uses. So the two that I can see that we're aware of at the present time is body temperature and antibodies, both of which are governing systems, not seek and destroy. Okay? So, and these viruses, they come around every spring and fall to do cleaning work. And, that's how the whole thing goes. So, science brings us a lot of wisdom. And we all benefit from the wisdom that science brings, but science is really only one aspect of universal intelligence. There's a lot more out there than just science. Science can be aware of and bring to the table different things that are inherent within its discipline, but you see, it's great measuring different things, how far is the moon away from the earth and the sun and all that. It's a little more difficult when you're dealing with human beings because you never know if that person feels good about themselves or bad about themselves, and how a person feels about themselves when you're doing studies on human beings. That's a factor that a scientist could never know, because there is no machine or test that's going to tell this person has got vibrations that don't feel so good about themselves in their body. This one has vibrations within them that they really feel good about themselves. So when you're moving in, with science, is trying to do tests and everything to figure out what's really working. If a vaccine actually makes a person feel less fearful, and they believe that they've got this vaccine, that they've taken this vaccine, and they really feel good, they've eliminated fear. Just the elimination of fear makes them feel better about themselves and the ability for their body to heal them, and they get healed from that. So the jury is still out for me whether vaccines really work or if it's the elimination of fear. And the reason the jury is out is because the placebo effect, if truth be known about all these studies that the pharmaceutical companies do and everything, the placebo effect works better than the drug in most of the cases, but they don't want to tell you that because they want you to purchase their drug. So, well, here's what it boils down to: is we can only know ourselves through consciousness, And when we can consciously align our consciousness more exactingly with the consciousness of universal intelligence, we can bring a higher and more harmonious standard of living to ourselves, to those around us, and to the world at large. Not by going out there and saving the world, but by saving ourselves and operating from more of an absolute self-worth, feeling, knowing, and consciousness. And our vibrations do the work, like dropping a pebble into clear water. The ripples go out. That's how we do the adjusting to the world, not by this top-down stuff and try to fix every problem at the level of effect. Anyway, I've been rambling on. This is Ed Lemberger, and thank you for liking my video. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing this video. And thank you for keeping a mind about you that is going to be open at least to some of these ideas. And really, if they're right, that's great. If they're not right, you have to make up that decision. So have a great day, everybody. Over and out till another time. Thank you.